Alright, welcome back Dial Builders. I have another prop accessory tutorial for you guys. It's going to be a bronze statue with a nice patina on it. It's going to go towards my museum diorama that I've already started. I've already made the marble pillars for the diorama as well as the marble floor, and I have tutorials of those videos down in my channel. And these next couple of videos are going to be filling out the diorama. I'm going to make up the back wall for the museum as well as a couple of displays, and this is one of them. So let's just get right into it. Alright, so here we are with the first step. I just have a basic horse figure from the Dollar Tree. If you guys want to see the brand, I'll go ahead and show you right now. I'll throw up a picture as well just in case you can't see it on camera. I'm going to go ahead and start off by cutting this tag off since we don't really need it. Get that out of the way. And basically all we're going to do is start sanding this down. We're going to want to sand it down pretty much everything so we can get the paint to stick. And since we're not using spray paint, which you can use, they do have brass or copper spray paint that you can buy, which make this process a lot faster if you want to do that. But you're still going to need to sand it down and just make sure it's completely dry of any of the dust that comes off of it. So all I'm going to use is some fine grit sandpaper and just start sanding this down. And it's just really simple. You just want to sand everything down and just go over it with the regular sandpaper first, and then there's going to be spots where you can't get with the sandpaper, like in between here and like in between the hairs. So what I recommend is grabbing a fine grain sanding sponge, so that will also get into the hair and stuff. All you have to do is press down and you can really get into all the spots that you missed. And since it's a sponge, you can squeeze it right into the cracks and crevices that you can't get with a regular sanding paper, and go ahead and sand those parts down as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sand this off camera and then come back to the next step. Alright, so here we have the horse pretty much all sanded down. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a dark bronze acrylic paint. You want to go with the dark bronze for your first layer and just build up the colors from there. So I'm going to go ahead and just start painting this a little bit on camera so you guys can see. You want to get full coverage on this. And you might, if you're not using the spray paint and you're using this paint, even though this is a paint has really good pigment in it, you might need to do 2 coats. So I'm going to go ahead and just paint this whole thing with this dark bronze color. And as you can see, the hair part here too, I got it pretty well sanded down with that sanding sponge. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this off camera and let it dry, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Alright, now that we have that bronze color on there, the other color I'm going to use, you can use brass, which Folk Art makes a really nice brass paint color, but I like this other color. It's called dark bronze, but it's actually lighter than the bronze that I already used. So I'm just going to use that, and we're just going to dry brush onto our horse statue right now. And we're just going to use a dry brushing technique, which that's what I'm doing right now. I'm cleaning off most of the paint from my brush. And I'm just using a really cheap chip brush that costs very little money. And all we're going to do is dry brush this color on here. And all we're trying to do is get the high points. And I forgot to mention, before I came back, I did do 2 coats of that paint that I used for the first coat on here, or for the first color. So just let you guys know, I did use 2 coats of that. So I'm going to go ahead and dry brush this. I'm going to dry brush a little bit more on here so you guys could slowly see the statue transform. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera again, and we'll come back to the next step. Alright, so here we are with the statue, the horse statue, dry brush with that lighter bronze color. Like I said before, you can use copper. Either way, it works. I just chose these paints because I like them. I wanted to show you guys a side-by-side because I am painting 2 of these up. So this one back here is the first color that we use, and this one's with the same base color as this one, and dry brush with the copper color. So I just want to give you guys a look at that. If you just wanted to make a bronze statue or a brass statue, you could stop at this point, but I'm going to add a patina to it. So we're going to go ahead and move on to those steps. So with the brass, we're going to want to knock back the shininess a little bit, since we are going to add a patina to this. So I am going to use the black wash. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that We're going to, like I said, this is just going to knock down the color and shininess of that brass or that super bright bronze color that we added on here. So like I said, I'm just adding a simple black wash to this. And you want it to pull into the crevices as much as possible if you want to add that dirt and grime kind of look to it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, just add this to the whole thing. And you can use a spray bottle technique where you just spray this down with the spray bottle and let the wash just settle where it settles. I know a lot of artists like using that type of technique. So I'm going to go ahead and black wash this, and we're going to come back when it's all dried and then move on to the next step. Alright, so here we are with the black wash already dried on there. Like I said, it adds so much detail to it. I don't know if you guys if it's picking up on camera, but it really makes it look so realistic with that black wash. Like I said, you don't have to go really crazy, but I'm going to patina this, so I did a lot of black wash on here. So we're going to add another wash to kind of tone down the darkness of it as well. And we're going to add a little bit more grime. So I'm going to do a basic brown wash, and I'm just using an espresso brown for this. So like I said, I'm going to apply it the same way. I'm just going to apply it directly onto the statue, right on top of the other wash that I just did. And then with a paper towel or some tissue, I'm just going to dab the excess away. And like I said, we're just trying to get a little bit more grime on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the rest of the statue, and we're going to come right back after this wash is done drying. Alright, now that brown wash is already dried on there, we're going to go ahead and go to the next wash. And I'm just mixing up ocean breeze color and a bright green color. I'm going to have pictures of the paints that I'm using, as always, throughout the video on the screen, so you guys know. Folk Art does make a patina paint that you can water down and use as a wash and use instead, but my local craft store did not have that paint, so I just used this alternative and made my own, basically. So I don't usually like using mixing my own colors because it's harder for you guys to find the ratio that I used. But like I said, if you do find that patina color, it's going to be called Patina. It's by Folk Art. You can look for it in your local craft store. So if you just want to get that instead of mixing your own, then that's perfectly fine. So with this wash, you're just trying to get into the recesses, and we're going to wash the whole thing with this patina color. And it's the same method. I'm going to apply the wash over the area that I want. And you really want a patina, or use this patina color heavily on here, because most statues that have a patina, it's usually really heavy. And like I said, go heavy on this because your bronze color is going to show through, and we're just trying to make this statue look really old. So as you can see already transforming in front of you, looks like it's a patinaed and weathered bronze statue. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the whole thing and then let it dry, and we're going to come back. Alright, so here we are with the patina wash already dried and already set in. As you can see, it makes it look really weathered, and it has that nice patina look to it. One last step is we're going to go over it again with the black wash, just to make it a little bit more realistic and get some of that grime back. We did the black wash and brown wash to begin with, so when you see through the patina wash, you could kind of see the grime in there, but we want to make this look a little bit more realistic, so we're going to do one final coat of that black wash. So I'm going to go ahead, like always, put some on camera for you guys, and then finish it off camera. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I just have a basic black wash right here, and I'm going to do the same thing, apply the black wash, wipe off any excess that I don't want on there, and then we're going to come back and take a look and go on to the next step. Alright, so there it is with the black wash all dried. That's the final look of it. I think it looks pretty realistic. And now I'm going to go ahead and clear coat this outside with the matte finish. It's really up to you, your preference. If you want a shiny finish on here, or matte finish, or satin finish, go ahead and spray it down with any of your favorite sealers. And then right after this is done drying, we're going to come back and then work on the base. It's going to be a simple base. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the statue is going to go into that museum diorama that I'm working on, which I did the pillars for, the marble pillars and the marble floor. And I'm slowly going to add to that. So the next project is going to be another display. So look forward to that, and I'm going to go ahead and spray clear coat this outside. Alright, now that the statue's outside drying with the clear coat, we're going to go ahead and just go on to the simple base. I just want to make I'm going for kind of a modern look, which is just really simplified, like colors. So I just have the base right here, which I cut out, which is 7 inches long and just short under 3 inches wide. And I go ahead and try to cut it as smooth as possible on the edges. I do have a little mess ups right here, but that's okay. I could fill that in after I'm done painting, and then just paint over the parts that need to be filled in. So I'm going to go ahead and apply just basically a dark gray. I'm just going to apply it directly on here. Like always, I'm going to have the picture of the type of paint I'm using and the color. And I'm just going to take a nice big brush that's soft so I don't get a lot of streaking in it with my brush strokes. And I'm going to go ahead and paint this whole thing gray. And I'm going to make sure none of the pink is seeping through. So I'm going to just go ahead and paint this off camera, and then we'll come back with the base already done painted and ready to go, and the statue ready to go to be mounted onto the base. So we'll be right back with that. Alright, so here we are with the paint all dry and the clear coat all dry. I just want to give you guys a second look real quick between the paint scheme for this one and then the base coat that we did earlier in the video. Like I said, it came out really good. It looks really realistic. Now we're just going to go ahead and mount this on the base, because it has to go on a base since I'm going to put it in the museum diorama. And all I'm going to do is really hot glue this to that gray base that we're already painting, which is also dry. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that right on there on the center. And it looks like this foot and this foot are making the contact, so that's where I'm going to put the hot glue. You don't want to go overboard with the hot glue because you don't want it squeezing out from the bottom of its feet and just squeezing out onto your base, because you want your base to look really clean, especially if it's in a museum. I already have some squeezing out, but that's okay. I'll clean it up before it dries up. Just want to make sure it's right where I want it. And it is. I'm going to go ahead and clean this extra hot glue off. It's looking good. So like that, the hot glue has already set. So we'll be right back. Alright, so here we are with the project all done and all finished. I put a Marvel Legends Doctor Strange right next to the statue for scale reference. And as always, guys, if you like this tutorial, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and hit that sexy subscribe button. Alright, welcome back, prop builders. I have another tutorial here for you guys. Fuck.